大家好，不好意思啊，我一边要吃点东西啊，这是我中午的午饭。我们今天来直播一下，我刚刚才看到，今天下午就我这儿1点钟的时候，北京时间大概10点钟，川普要做他首次的国会演讲啊，所以我们临时呢就搭建了这样的环境啊，来给大家做这样的直播。目前他那个还没开始，很多人还在进场啊，川普还没有开始，白宫的那个这个国会的演讲呢还没有，他的直播还没打开啊。所以我们先不着急啊，我可以给大家一些画面吧，然后稍等啊，我这同时几个，OK， 同时几个，那给大家一些画面啊，这是现场的声音，这个不是白宫的画面啊，这是另外的画面。那么我们会呢，尽可能的通过没有同声传译啊，但是尽可能的我用了这样一个翻译的这个软件。我曾经在做川普第一次的那个一个辩论的时候啊，当时那个软件还是挺好用的。现在这个不知道怎么样啊，我们就要在 OK， 好像还是不是很理想。它这个一阵一阵的，你知道吗？这个软件它一阵一阵的，而且它有延迟，它有过个5-6分钟会有延迟。OK， 我们先不看了，我们先回来吧，我们先不看了啊，我们先不看了，对，没开始我就先跟大家聊一下吧，等到正式开始了以后，我们再把画面切过去啊。我这儿几个机器，我几个机器同时开始啊，我们先测试一下环境吧。我不知道为什么我换了我的那个宽带啊，就是我那个宽带换成光纤以后啊，就特别容易，我在直播的时候特别容易出那个黄色警告。说你的油管直播没有接收到足够的图像啊，就是不能保持一个平稳的直播。我不知道为什么老是出现这个东西啊，大家有问题吗？哎，大家早上好，中午好，晚上好啊。我尽可能不把这个咀嚼的声音放在话筒里面啊，因为我中午就这么一点点东西啊，午饭啊。其实我今天上午想做另外一个节目的，但是突然发现这个呢，我就先做一下。因为为什么呢？昨天的时候呢，川普在真相时间上发了一个很短的帖子啊，说明天我要说一件大事儿。你看我来看一下他是怎么讲的。Truth Social， 昨天川普发了一个 Truth Social。说，对，挺短的一个，不对，昨天的，今天要宣布大事，很多人就在猜哈，今天会宣布什么大事？昨天我在节目开始的时候，我当时一听，哟，有大事儿是吧？然后我就下了个注。昨天节目直播开始的时候，我就跟他讲嘛，他等我一下，我下注呢，是吧？我当时在下注啊，到底他今天会宣布什么大事呢？很多人会有猜测，市场现在都在猜测。刚才我看到有评论讲美股跟港股都大跌，是吧？是不是跟中国有关呢？哎，我昨天压的那个下注，还真的就是跟中国有关的啊。Tomorrow night will be big. I will tell it like it is. 啊，这是他昨天发的这个，给大家看一下啊。有朋友说退出北约是吧？我呢其实也在想呢，退出北约，因为退出北约这个事儿呢，的确最大。然后呢，最出人意料嘛，在博彩市场退出北约的这个赔率大概在10%的样子，就是你压1毛钱，如果真的退出了，那你就可以这是昨天川普那个啊。明天晚上要出大事啦！我到时候有什么跟大家说什么啊？OK， 那是不是出大事呢？所以我们就我刚刚说到这个退出北约是吧？退出北约这个事儿，因为就算首先川普没有权利退出北约，必须要参议院的，而且是绝对多数2/3通过啊。是只要参议院吗？还是众议院也要过？反正至少参议院2/3必须通过，是吧？这个不可能的嘛。我觉得，除非出大事儿，真出大事儿了，好吧？北约内部我们中间出了个奸细，是吧？我们中出了个奸细，否则我觉得， 就算他想退出北约，可能也不行。但是呢，当然你也不排除他宣布一下，是吧？老子觉得要退出北约啊！昨天我发了推特嘛，就是挪威有一个公司啊，因为川普在白宫的川普跟泽连斯基发生了矛盾的，然后所以他们就把就是他本来是给北约供油的啊，北约所有的军队，当然包括美国军队啊，主要是美国军队，说白了，主要是美国军队。那在那边供应的时候呢，他就说我抵制啊 ，boycott， 我们不给美国军舰供油了啊。然后后来我就觉得哇，我说这个事儿如果美国不制裁这种公司的话，那还能怎么办呢？是吧？你如果这种公司都不制裁的话，啊，感觉虽然说呢，后来有朋友查了一下啊，说这个公司呢跟北约没有实际的合同，啊，就是只是你来买我就卖给你，那我觉得没这么简单。那就算是你没有跟北约或者跟美国没有直接的合同啊，你直接做这个表态的话，挪威的官方当时立刻切割啊，这事跟我没关系啊，我们会保证对于美国这个军舰的供应。然后那个家伙还呼吁其他人跟他一起抵制嘛，但是我觉得这个事儿应该会在这个公司会到美国的这个制裁清单上。当时我就发了推嘛，我说搞不好明天川普宣布说，什么第一条我支持乌克兰加入北约，第二条我准备退出北约，会不会被我言中啊？因为这个真的非常具有戏剧性，对不对？而且呢 ，he's making a point， 他在说一个观点，就是说北约这个事儿，你们说了半天，乌克兰要加入北约，要寻求北约的安全保障，这不就是寻求我的安全保障吗？什么北约啊，是吧？It can make a point， 其实，在川普包括马斯克啊这两个人呢，发表的很多不管是网上还是在现实里面啊说的很多话呢，其实说白了就是什么精神。那我们不知道什么精神，你看他胡言乱语吧，你看这个人玩世不恭吧，就是马斯克推崇的那个 Doge 精神。Doge， 我看了很多支持乌克兰的朋友，对不对？也会拿这个狗狗头像嘛，作为自己头像嘛，因为那就是什么呢？那就是乌克兰军队在跟俄罗斯军队打宣传战的时候，这个 Doge 精神就表明了什么样会有人会有 Doge 精神，什么样的生物会有幽默感，只有高等智能生物有幽默感。像俄罗斯这样的兽人民族，你们没有幽默感啊，你们就是炮灰，是吧？我们不但英勇抗战，而且我们有幽默感啊。其实这个 Doge 精神呢，你很难解释清楚。反正你可以说是玩世不恭，也可以怎么样。反正就是说什么呢？就我很难用一句话来总结。但是我个人其实挺推崇这个 Doge 精神的。如果你关注推特上，关注我油管里面，你也知道，其实我也是。我当然一开始并不知道这个 Doge 精神，但是后来我觉得，哎呦，这玩意儿好像跟我的这个尿性还是挺一样的，是吧？不小心尿到一个湖里去了啊！就是很多时候你不要太过于的歇斯底里。不要太过于的极端和歇斯底，任何时候都要退后一步，不管是你悲痛也好，还是你愤怒也好，退后一步是吧？发挥一下你的 Doge 精神这个狗狗精神。那这怎么还没来啊？不是说好了今天早上我这1点钟吗？啊，来了，但是白宫的还没开始。有朋友给我打赏了。等等啊，我没看到。有一位叫悉尼奶爷的啊，这哥们儿不错啊，因为什么呢？我们的直播一般来讲都是会我会设一个坎儿嘛，你要 follow 我30天以内是吧？你才能啊。我觉得这个坎儿呢，也是为了防止一些在监狱里踩缝纫机的人进来捣乱嘛。等一下，不好意思啊，他这个把他挡住了啊。这位呢 follow 我不止30天是吧？然后呢给我打赏，他说：“大家好，我为我儿子的不当行为道歉。”没问题，没问题。我真特别喜欢这样，真的，我真特别喜欢这样。没关系啊，就是这个说白了，咱们做节目就跟这个郭德纲跟这个于谦在台上一样，对吧？谁是谁儿子，有什么不一样呢？我现在在给我网名取一个悉尼奶爷的爸爸，这个就是 Doge 精神，兄弟们，这个就是 Doge 精神。我觉得那个中国国内那个谁来着？就是说有一个网红挺红的，经常跟人直播的那个，大家给我提醒一下啊！中国国内有时候我记不太清楚，这个就是 Doge 精神，对吧？大家不要太过于严肃了。我们在直播，你叫我一声儿子，我叫你一声儿子，有什么大不了呢？这跟事儿有什么关系，对吧？再何况这个家伙，不是，抱歉啊， 这位悉尼奶爷给我打赏了2加元，是吧？您愿意的话，您一直打，我一直叫啊，咱们就整个这个演讲里面，您一直打，我一直叫，没关系啊，真的。有很多人就是，而且我觉得 Doge 呢还有一层意思，就是不要太把自己当回事儿，你知道吧？你太把自己当回事儿了，你这不是像王志安那样子的，豁不出去，太把自个儿当回事儿了，好吧？当然我也理解，就是什么呢？对护城风，对护城风，就是护城风，我觉得就是中国的一个特别典型的 Doge 精神。王志安这种人根本理解不了什么叫 Doge 精神，他就拼命的要表达自己很幽默。哦，来了，等一下啊，他要表达自己很幽默，但是他那种幽默啊，一看就知道啊，为什么白宫这个画面还没来呀？他这个幽默就是来了啊。我把这个先拿下去啊，这个不是，我只是说您再打赏啊，回来打赏，回来我再给您点。我一直在等白宫这个信号啊，因为别的信号可能会有插广告啊，什么东西，稍等一下啊，来了，这个白宫这个信号来了。有点手忙脚乱的啊，稍等一下啊，有点手忙脚乱的，我得把这个调一下。有2台电脑，稍等一下啊，马上就好。
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America.
好了，马上就好啊，来了。
From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
这边就是我威震天又回来了，是吧？我威震天又回来了，我们刚刚才开始啊。
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
USA, 肯定是有抗议的，有抗议的被请出去了。
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded,
Mr. President.
a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
就有个人不肯坐下来，然后在那儿就是抗议，然后呢就警告2次，2次不行的话就要派人派警卫把他弄出去了。这个我觉得好，我觉得韩国还是台湾什么的不准派警察派警卫进场，如果有议员违规不肯弄出去我觉得这个挺好，这个应该这样。当然我也理解为什么韩国和台湾不行嘛，就是因为以前
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir.
还是不肯。
Take your seat.
坐下来吧，赶紧结束，我待会儿接孩子的。
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order.
赶走了。我还第一次看我们第一次直播看这个白宫的这个警卫是怎么把人弄出去的。这看样子应该是一个南太平洋的或者怎么样子，没有警察，难道是便衣吗？就是后面那个后面那个黑人应该就是对，
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
他说了一个记录昨天也是这个数据，就是现在美国边境越境进来的人是有史以来的最低，是比他那个时候第一任的时候更低的确是我当时我忘了数字多少了，就是低到惊人。
They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
下面有人在抗议，民主党的人抗议。他刚才讲了，我在这儿讲了5次了，台下另外一半人就不肯起立，不管我说们都不肯鼓掌，是吧？还寒碜他们啊！哎，都在，佩洛西也在哈。佩洛西摔了一下。
So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
这些人举的什么牌子？啊，就是抗议马斯克的，抗议什么？因为他们说马斯克要把这个 Medicaid 的钱偷掉什么的。
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
OK， 刚才应该说的是那个外援，不好意思，我。
I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization.
刚才说的是砍绿色能源的事情，然后是卫生部的砍开支。
We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction.
电动车补贴，他把电动车补贴拿掉了，反正就是跟那个当时的环保这些政策，拜登的全拿掉了啊，可以放开我们的手脚。
To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term.
哇塞，他说要去增加1项监管，去10项监管。他上一届是增加1项监管，去2项监管。这次要大批的去监管。
We set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
又开始吵了是吧？你们政治迫害我啊！最后把我迫害上来了是吧？啊，这点我都同意的。我去年就讲过了，他们又开始给川普拉票了是吧？各种的起诉啊什么的。
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
哎，正好他们起立的时候，我们可以讲点东西，因为一直说的话，我们还没法说了啊。他没脱稿啊，我看到有人又在说脱稿，他有提词器的。
signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
啊，昨天签了行政命令，好像是把英文作为官方语言，可能是作为唯一的还是什么官方语言吧。
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
把那个墨西哥湾改成美国湾，全美国人最反对的政策就是这项。OK， 没事，没事。
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska.
麦金利山改回了原名啊。
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
把所有联邦政府跟军方有关的所有的私营企业里面的 DEI
will be woke no longer.
把这个 DEI 去掉了啊，这个的确是大功一件，大功一件，大功一件。
We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important.
Yes， 这个我支持。凡事应该以能力为主啊，而不是以什么种族什么东西。但是其实共和党内部其实也有人想以种族的。
Based on merit, and the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you very much.
Meritocracy 啊，这也是我竞选的时候主要的纲领啊。Meritocracy.
We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
这个其实是民主党拱手送给他们的，就是男跨女选手不能参加女子比赛。你看那边没人鼓掌。我觉得民主党如果不跨过这个坎儿，他们还得输。
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
行政命令不让这个生理男性，也就是跨性别去参加女性运动。
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side, and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
有一个排球就是这个女的。排球运动员嘛，然后那个时候可能对方是男跨女的，然后打了他脑震荡了还是怎么样子，我忘了这个是脑震荡吗？脑损伤是吧？然后就是这个典型案例嘛，其实就拿这个来做政治宣传了，我们都明白了。
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
没事啊，继续讲。这个其实我看到民调里面，就是老百姓对这个政策还是挺支持的。所以呢，民主党其实真的是啊，这帮人每一个都被他吃死了。移民问题，这个问题。
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
通胀问题，美国人最关心的通胀、就业、非法移民，包括刚才的那个男跨女这个东西，就是也是支持度比较高的。对，先把自己的政绩一个一个摆出来。
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job.
有人要拿东西出来了，我听说他们有人拿那个鸡蛋的那个装蛋的那个盒子出来要抗议的，我看看能不能给镜头啊。就是讽刺他，讽刺川普。
Defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
其实通胀是他现在最大的隐忧。OK， 因为他现在关税政策也好，各种政策也好，是不利于降低通胀的。
And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
哎呦，我一直觉得这个 drill baby drill 有点色情啊。OK， 开始说了啊，通胀，然后怎么降通胀呢？我们的能源啊，我们要开始钻油啊，但是这个钻油这个至少2年。
Working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to drive production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
开始讲稀土了，会不会讲到乌克兰？大家就看他对乌克兰的这个援助禁运现在还没有结束，还在这个还没有撤销。
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but we'll be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
砍政府的开支，政府的浪费。我们这儿鸡蛋也很紧缺，我们家鸡蛋也用完了，买不着。
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, GOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
Yeah.
By Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
这个应该是全世界现在最遭人恨的，或者仅次于川普最遭人恨的人。现在有一个猜测啊，关于通胀问题，我们待会儿在结束的时候我们再讲一下啊。有个猜测关于到底他打算怎么控制通胀。
He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants.
开
Nobody.
始拉清单了，一些浪费，211亿给非法移民建房子，
$8
这个倒是
million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
莱索托给
$60 million
LGBT
for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is
跨
real.
性别老鼠。
$32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
你看到有人在说这个数据假的，我觉得呢，在国会上读的这个数据应该不会是假的。平时他们发推特啊，有些数据可能是要没有核实，要么是有 context。我觉得在国会读的不太可能是假的，至少说有半真半假的那种。
And reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129.
这个事儿大家知道吧？就是他们查出来这个社保的这个数据库里面有很多人特别高龄，但这个事儿是有争议的啊。我觉得这个有很多人怀疑呢，是他这个系统里面的这个技术问题，有很多人怀疑是数据库老旧数据库的技术问题。但 anyway。
And we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck.
他们在找司法部的人在起诉什么去查。
People because it just keeps getting paid and nobody does, and it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
说我们这么多100多岁、160几岁的人啊，我们的国家的还是挺健康的。不管他这个数据是不是有问题啊，但是呢，他的确引起了公众注意，公众是支持他们的。
1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it. With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
刚才说那个高龄的那个事情，我看了一下，的确跟刚才我之前看的一样啊，它是用 COBOL 的系统很老，然后一直没有更新了，所以也不更新了。对 ，anyway。
Have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
还 还有人在问为什么一半不起立啊？很简单嘛，左边一半是反对党，这边是执政党的共和党的，国会里面都是这样。
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
美国的国会还是有点严肃啊！英国那个国会那个多好玩啊！
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there, they're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right.
这个有意思了，逼他们鼓掌，要逼他们鼓掌了。
Vote for those tax cuts because otherwise, I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax.
这国会影响，其实这个也挺好玩的。有的时候他会，因为有的时候你不得不鼓掌，是吧？他会逼着反对党起来鼓掌啊，就是看谁有这个本事，可以逼对方必须要鼓掌，或者至少不反对。
It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
小费免税，然后什么社保的收入免税，反正就是照顾低收入群体的。
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
我看到里面，咱们这个观众里面很多没见识的啊，就是把这个比成人民大会堂是这样子的。我以前一直讲，即使在西方也有政治宣传，也有这样鼓掌的，在中国只有一个人可以，是吧？只有一个党可以。而且在中国不可以不鼓掌。
It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world.
最近有好几个车厂，本田、现代都宣布在美国建厂了，这个的确是。还请了谁来？还请了现代的人，现代的董事长吗？
This has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country, first term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher.
韩国、中
So
国、
much help militarily
印度
in so many other ways to South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was, and so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money.
4月2号开始对等关税。
I'm a very superstitious
4
person.
月1号不行，愚人节。
April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them.
你征我们多少税，我征
If
你们
they
多少
do
税。
non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market.
你们
A
要
lot of that too.
你们要是给我
They don't even allow us
有
in their
软
market.
软的那个壁垒，那我们也
We
给你
will
软
take
壁
in
垒。
trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer.
这个对等关税这个事儿其实挺有意思的，我还没有看过一个非常完
Much
整
has
的
been said
分析。
over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada. But we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and
对加拿大，
many
说加拿大
very
给我们
young,
毒品，
beautiful people destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election
看来不会宣布豁免墨西哥跟加拿大的关税了。
the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple
直接怼脸。
$500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most
甲骨
powerful
文、
in the
苹
world,
果，昨天的
has a
TMSC，
tremendous amount, 97% of the
台
market,
积电，
announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA.
5000亿，5000亿，1600多亿，对。
And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
昨天台积电呢，我还没翻译完呢。他大概就是说，拜登给了台积电60几亿嘛，然后补贴嘛，是吧？我都没给人家补贴，人家自己给我们送了1000亿过来，是吧？那其实呢，就是台积电如果搬过来以后，他估计还是会给补贴的。我个人觉得。
New trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer.
好，中国昨天对于美国的这些农产品加了15%的关税，提到农民了。
Because those goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too.
这个很重要。中国不是昨天对美国农产品征税嘛？他的意思说，4月2号对等关税以后，我们的竞争力比全世界所有国家都强，所以到时候你们不要怕卖不出东西来，是吧
？Also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama. Jeff Denard has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff.
我把声音调大一点啊，稍等啊，有人说声音有点小是吧？我把声音调大一点啊。
Thank you, Jeff.
OK。
Thank you, Jeff.
刚才我忘了这人干嘛了？这人干嘛了？我刚才调声音。
Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs; they're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh.
他说：“我们会有点小挫折，
where Biden took us very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much, and I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States.
给个镜头呀！不给个镜头呢？人家都睡到自己老婆了，不给个镜头，真是谁来看这个老头啊？就看老婆呢。他昨天穿了一身东西，的确很帅啊！我在我推特上发了，的确很帅啊。我知道有的人就好这口，大长腿啊。
Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher, and Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John.
对，昨天川普的老婆去白宫跟那个泰德克鲁兹，就可能宣布这个要保护网络上保护这个女性，可能就是这个。所有的如果被人爆了裸照以后呢，就是可能要强制啊，怎么样子要把所有的照片下架之类的，或者说要制定相应的法律惩罚。
And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is a terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody.
在人要用这个法律来保护自己。
Great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren.
非法移民那个杀的一个这个女的，然后她家里受害人嘛，受害人家属到场，然后这个也是继续回来说非法移民问题啊，这个是她的政治加分项。同样还是那句话啊，民主党在这方面毫无作为，完全是被吊起来打。在多个美国民众最关注的领域。
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
所以大家看到没有，都是把自己的得分项在前面说啊。所以我看到有人在说啊，有没有开始说乌克兰了？我觉得乌克兰的事儿会往后面走。OK， 包括跟中国的有关的，就是外交上面的事情。
It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
对啊，有朋友说1万卡，我还真没看到1万卡哎。啊，刚才那个家属席我还真没看到1万卡。
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
说我们立那么多法啊，反对非法移民是吧？立有什么用啊？还不如选个好总统。 其实挺有娱乐效果的啊，相比于这个人民大会堂的东西，这个还是很有娱乐效果的。
Joe Biden didn't. He flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America.
又没有了吗？真的是奇怪了。
But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered.
又是一个非法移
Arrested
民
and
受害者
charged。with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
哦，把这个行政命令拿过来了吗？现签啊签好了，签好了现展示啊，又是一个根据这个受害者，然后呢，他说他喜欢动物啊，可能跟这个动物有关的一个，我还真刚才没注意这个他什么 order， 大家提醒我一下啊，我在看评论呢，刚才我是一心几用，一边控制这个电脑上在播放，一边用我的电脑直播，一边在那个什么
Thank you very much.
听他的，一边在看评
All
论。
3 savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations.
目前没有什么大事件，包括很多人猜测他会不会说对加拿大跟墨西哥啊把这个关税豁免掉，直到现在为止也没有。他们跟加拿大、墨西哥讲，今天有可能会豁免，就看这个川普怎么
They
决
are
策。
now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy.
请了一个边防的来，这个东西真的要他很会大做文章的。我也知道他为什么拿这个大做文章啊，就是因为民主党那边他没有任何反抗的这个力量，所以就摁着打嘛。但是我也理解为什么大篇幅的，因为美国人确实关心这个，60%到80%几的，就是我之前看民调里面60%到80%美国人。
In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande, near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. when heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them. Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much.
如果民主党能够转过弯来，把这个脑子转过弯来，在非法移民问题上能够整党有一个转向的话，我觉得这个对于全世界各个，包括对于欧洲啊，都会有很大的影响的。所以在他们转向以前，川普想怎么做文章怎么做文章，我觉得都没有问题。
He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war in America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing.
昨天美国的防长说，可能美国会直接进入墨西哥跟这个黑帮分子开战啊。
5 nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy.
给他们遣送了29个黑帮的头子，我在推特上也发了。对，但是现在谈墨西哥了。
But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it.
另外一项跟边境有关的法律啊，我刚才那个词儿忘听了，边境有关的法律啊，这个但是必须要是跟我们这个有关，而且它是跟墨西哥是有挂钩嘛？他的意思是这样。
And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns.
讲了一下墨西哥和加拿大，又跑开了。我们所有人都在等他讲墨西哥和加拿大呀。
In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bond.
FBI 跟司法部要肃清这个
Going to do a great job.
执法司法部门里面
Thank you.
把这个政治化，司法部门里面政治化，就是把这个司法部门当武器使用的，政治武器使用的这种事儿要查清了。
They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it.
犯罪
This
问题
also
也是川
includes
普的
our
得分
great
项。
fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice.
犯罪问题其实也是他的很大一个得分项，也是老百姓
1
已
year
经
ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and 1-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie.
纽约一个被枪杀的警察啊，把老婆请过来，也是煽一下情了。我觉得现在真的是美国这种，尤其是民主党当中的这个市区啊，这些人啊，这些高官啊，真的是价值观
Stephanie,
念
we're
扭
going
曲
to
啊。
make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, so we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
哎，刚才他说什么？杀警察的人什么死刑吗？什么？我没听清楚。总之现在是讲这个法律有关的事情。然后我刚才想，我在想一个事儿。
I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed.
我们还是用这个吧。另外那个
Joining
软
us
件
in
不是
the
很稳
gallery
定。
tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
哎呦，他找了个小朋友过来，这个有点，好吧，而且这看样子是一个墨西哥裔和非裔的混血。我刚才说的是什么？波士顿前两天出了个事情，大家看我推上发了吗？波士顿前两天，有一个人有一个有精神疾病的嘛，在街上砍人，当然没砍到人啊，被警察有一个这个下班的警察把他打死了。然后波士
But
顿
in
的
2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
啊，这还是一个小孩被诊断出脑癌的是吧？但是说他只能活5个月，但是已经活了6年多了，还挺好。这个有点煽情了吧？这个有什么关系呢？对。Anyway.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Oh my god！ 这个秀做到满，特勤局的局长来给他 颁发聘用啊，成为美国特勤局的探员。这个拿小孩子作秀太不要脸了，真是！哎呦哎呦哎呦，领证了，直接领证了，牛逼牛逼！哎呀，哎，这个秀做的太过了，这个秀做的太过了。行了，我刚才说那个波士顿的那个就是那个事儿发生了以后呢，那个市长还有很多其他的波士顿的市一级的官员到现场以后，先慰问死者家属。
DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
啊，难怪把这个小孩，因为这个小孩本身是诊断出脑癌的，同时又想当警察嘛，这把两个串在一起了啊。一方面呢是鼓励啊大家去当警察是吧？警察光荣，其实说白就是重塑美国警察光荣的这个形象。然后呢，因为他这个脑癌症嘛，然后就牵出下面一个卫生保健。
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you.
小肯尼迪啊，让他来改善美国健康啊。我个人其实我不是美国人啊，但是我觉得这个。
My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you.
给小孩冠变性和鼓励小孩这个跨性别的这个事儿，对，然后请了一个英雄母亲上来，我不知道啊。应该请马斯克上来啊！马斯克说：“我女儿不是我儿子，就是这样。”
Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology.
美国已经禁止所有的这个跨性别者，他们称为性别障碍嘛，是吧？进入美国军队了啊，这个是很有争议的一个政策。
I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie.
我觉得美国，特别是给低龄儿童。就是你过早的灌输这个 idea， 我觉得是错误的，这是非常错误的。而且很多人不是灌输了，很多人就是在诱导。
Perfect exactly the way God made you.
这个共和党打鸡血的部分。赶紧啊，我们在乌克兰啊！ 我们在等中
Because
国
we're
问题
getting
啊，快点
wokeness
接
out
孩
of
子
our
呢，快点儿
schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations.
你看，很多人我们关注的重点，其实不是川普关注重点。
I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference.
征兵原来不是很难征兵嘛，现在征兵好像上来创了记录了，这一个月还是多少的征兵的数量创了记
And
录
you
了。
know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you.
哎，我觉得这个锻炼也挺好的，是吧？动不动起来站一站，鼓鼓掌。
We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
那是拥军模范了啊！军队模范，军队模范。哎，这哥们儿有点眼熟啊，这哥们儿是干嘛？
And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
真会秀啊，真会秀！这个地方宣布，哎呀，你的西点军校已经被录取了，真会秀，搞得跟真人秀一样。有朋友说李嘉诚把巴拿马港口卖给美国了啊，这个事儿我不知道啊，这个我们可以关注一下啊。巴拿马据说正在查这个那个常识叫什么来着？李嘉诚那叫什么来着？哎，我现在脑真是老了。
Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
以色列那个是叫什么琼的？叫什么琼导弹？铁穹嘛，是吧 ？Iron Dome， 它是 Golden Dome。
Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right? Tim, right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding.
美国造船是吧？大肆发展军工了啊，一块是空防系统啦，但是这个金穷它防什么
And
呢
for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it.
讲到了啊，我们要把巴拿马运河收回来是吧？讲到了，就是刚才是不是要这个长江实业是吧？长江实业
company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
大家知道我昨天压了什么吗？就是特朗普今天会宣布什么啊？我昨天压了一个东西，我一直在等他说，到现在没说啊，但是说了一点点，还没有说到我买的那个量。
In charge. Good luck, Marco.
Now 点名。
We know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job.
看来对卢比奥还是很满意的。
He got 100 votes.
卢比奥是99票。
He was approved with actually 99, but
99票。
The 100th was this gentleman.
对，加上那个副总统一票。
Certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes, and I'm either very, very happy about that, or I'm very concerned about it.
那个金琼真让我想到金拱门。
He's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job.
来，我们也来锻炼。
Great job.
真的，如果说每一次他们这个鼓掌都锻炼一下的话，我觉得身体还是啊。啊。
We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
格陵兰是有公投。
We will make you rich.
还有5月份还是6月份的。
We will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice.
他们抓到了这个几年以前的那个就是炸死在阿富汗撤军的时候炸死13名美国士兵的恐怖分子头目，说现在正在被送回美国，抓到了。你看，就是各种为了这台戏准备的材料啊，就好像我们直播一样，我们准备这样那样材料，那全是为了准备材料。
And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this
巴基斯坦
monster.
帮他们抓的。
This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Evidence was shown that when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the
老在提阿富汗。
parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords.
那它的主要政绩亚伯拉罕协议。哎，在看啥呢？看啥呢？给个镜头呀！看啥呢？是不是
And now
以
we're
色列
going to
以色列
build
人质
on
吗？
that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia.
哎呦，这都2个
A
小
lot
时
of
了。
things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything.
赶紧的，赶紧的！哎，这个你看，鼓掌的人就比较少。
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years?
是
Yeah, you would
是
say
民主党那边人
Pocahontas
鼓掌
says yes.，
民主党那边人鼓掌，说我们干的，我们干的，说我们给乌克兰支持的这么多1000多亿，对。
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of
泽
Ukraine.
连斯基给他写的信，
The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the
乌克兰
negotiating table
准
as
备
soon
谈
as
判了，
possible to bring
尽快
lasting peace
和平，
closer.
持
Nobody
久和
wants
平。
peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
OK， 泽连斯基给他写的信啊，泽连斯基写的信已经发到推特上了。泽连斯基还用乌克兰语昨天发了个视频，我今天已经翻译过了，放在推特上了，大家可以看啊。基本上就是说，相当于满足了川普这边的要求嘛。但是我看他会不会，他会宣布什么措施嘛？而俄罗斯那边也有积极的信号，说愿意和谈。
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight.
从俄罗斯要回来的人质啊，其实就是普京送给他的人情嘛，这个很简单嘛啊，那个时候关了几年的啊，就是这个人，然后呢给他送回来了，OK。是那个，这个是中东问题特使，这个川普的中东问题特使跑到俄罗斯去跟普京把这个人要回来了，啊，有意思吧？中东特使跑到那儿去啊，这个人以前也是开发商，是川普那个时候在纽约的时候同行。
To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it?
他被挨子弹的
Where
地
his mother has
方，
lived
这个人正好
for
就
the
出生在他挨
past
子弹的地方。
78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their 2 beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you.
Mm. 转到这个事情嘛，就是他自己遇刺嘛，是吧？他自己遇刺，然后子弹打了现场的一个消防员。哎呀，这俩姑娘能不能控一控油啊？这脸上比我还油。
To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his 3 beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. Thank you.
因为一般来讲，我记得以前的国情咨文啊，基本上都是1个小时。那我看一下啊，我现在一边在说，这讲了多久了？都2个小时了，我这。
Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free,
好，现在要结束了。
and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean, strode into the unknown wilderness, and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age. These workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities. These warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher. And we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
是有跨党派的人站起来吗？没有吧？不至于啊！已经有离席了，已经走了，提前去抢这个，提前去开车了，不然待会儿堵。
And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve.
赶紧来，最后呢？
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
哎呀，真的是什么都没有，不好意思大家，不好意思。说要做大事儿，我这就是纯粹就是，哎呀，这种太玩流量太溜了，这种纯粹就是玩流量，我就，哎呀，不好意思啊，那我也赶紧走了啊，我让小孩先在那个图书馆先待一会儿，我就赶紧走了啊，硬生生的撑到我3点钟啊，那个什么，把这个讲完了啊，我们不看了啊，不看了。我们待会儿回来啊，等我下午回来跟大家说这个继续讲乌克兰的事情啊。这个今天有很多重大进展，我们看下午他们待会儿会不会把乌克兰的那个援助给它恢复了啊？我们回头再讲，关键是讲欧洲的，关键讲乌克兰的